Hey, welcome to the video. If you don't want to watch the whole video and you just want to skip ahead to certain topics, go to the subscription section down here, and below you should see some hyperlinks that you can click on and it will take you straight to that point in the video. If you haven't hit the subscription button down here, go ahead and do that now. Also hit the notification bell so you'll be updated anytime we have a new video. We work really hard to bring you entertaining and useful content. So if you enjoy what we're doing here on the channel, make sure to go to our Patreon page. The link is in the description below, and donate $10, $5, even $2 a month is a big help, and it shows your support. So thanks for watching and enjoy. Cool, so what's up?
Nothing. I just moved to North Carolina like a week ago, so it caught me at a good time. I'm like in a home. I painted it pink.
I see the pink, yeah. You're surrounded by pink, yeah.
So things are actually good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what happened? Did you move from, like, what happened?
Oh my god, it's been a story, dude. Well, let's see. So a lot of stuff with the French guy, things kind of went downhill.
Oh yeah, I didn't know anything about the French guy.
Yeah.
Do you want the French guy stuff in the interview? We can keep that in there if you're cool with that.
Oh, is this in the interview?
Sure. What?
Don't. It's probably not very interesting. He was gonna move to I moved to Texas. He was gonna move to Texas with me for, we were gonna get married for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were, and then everything kind of went downhill for a lot of different reasons. And
just
then,
like you didn't like the cheese or the baguettes or.
Yeah. I finally figured out he just smells like fucking brie all the time. I knew I just couldn't live with that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. I don't like brie either.
Yeah, and he always had a baguette in his hand, and it was just like, hold my hand. He's like, no, I got this baguette here.
It made it really hard to get close. There was always a baguette like right in the middle.
Yeah. Are you about to kiss, and then there's just a baguette in between us. Like, Jesus, That's kind of awkward. That could be a euphemism, I guess. Anyway.
Did he move to the U.S. with you?
He was going to, like, literally right before I had moved, and then he was supposed to move to Texas, and then, with the Trump thing.
Oh yeah.
Good timing, and then a lot of stuff, and eventually Texas didn't work out, so I moved back to my parents, my mom's in Bemidji, Minnesota, and I left after like
Bemidji.
Bemidji.
That's a real place?
It's actually in Fargo, the TV show.
Yeah. I only saw the movie. I only saw Fargo, the movie.
The TV show is really good. The first season is good, and it takes place in my hometown. So it's a tiny frame of reference.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so now I'm finally here, and I'm ready to start, like, living a life again and drawing. And
well, your teeth look good.
My teeth look good.
Your teeth look good. They're super clean.
Thank you.
Do you drink coffee? Oh. I guess
the second one of the day.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I see you kept the French press. Like, does it make you miss your old boyfriend?
Should I smash it and switch to a Chemex just for the sake of it? Are these actually French? I think French people don't really drip coffee. This is like.
I don't know. I don't know why it got called the French press. I mean, maybe it was like a French salesman that came to the U.S. and started selling it to people, and they were like, "Oh, it's French."
You can sell anything if you put like something French above it. Like here, there's like a weird set of 3 shops in this, like, I'm in Raleigh, and there's a set of like 3 shops next to each other that all like have French words, but all the French in it is wrong. So it's like La Farm Bakery, which is like you'd say La Ferme, but it's like wrong. And then there's like La Belle Boutique, and it's like just the shittiest stuff, but it's like French words in it. So
yeah, people feel exotic. I actually used to, like, I've been asked this before about living in Europe, like, do you speak European? Like, I've been asked that before.
Have you actually been asked this?
I won't tell you who asked me that because I'm too ashamed, but
I know.
Yeah.
Do you though? Do you speak European?
Yeah, I speak European. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I can tell. With the accent.
So let's get into it then, I guess. Let's see. Um, so here we have Kim Truedson with the really white teeth. She can drink coffee and have glowing white teeth still
Yeah, I
because she.
started young, so they've like chemically changed to adapt to coffee.
So you. Like brush your teeth with baking soda, or is that the secret?
No white strips.
Oh, you use white strips?
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
it works.
all
I think
right.
they make your teeth kind of get like thin though. My teeth are kind of thin.
With the white strips?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh,
It doesn't seem like the best. I've done it like twice in my life, but like I kind of worry because chemicals you're just like strapping to your teeth. I just feel like it can't be great.
yeah. I hear that baking soda is good for that. Okay,
And
so
okay.
let's start with like, what did you expect? Like when you decided that I was like I'm gonna be an artist. Like, what were your expectations, or what was your vision of like what that would look like?
Um, it's an interesting question. I was kind of wondering if I should focus, if during this interview I'd talk about like mental health at all, because I know you and I both are interested in mental health, and it could be interesting to like talk about that.
I'm listening to you. I'm just trying to get my little smoky bones in here, so people can see
Oh, I
my
like him.
little
What's
guy.
up, Smoky Bones? How you doing,
Can
baby?
you see him okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to put the
He's
subscribe
he's
thing.
like comforting.
Yeah. A permanent reminder of your own demise. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about mental health, that's great. I mean, I think that we should just like get totally personal and tell all of our secrets.
You think so?
No, I'm kidding. So, but yeah, I think mental health is important to talk about because the stigma behind it is starting to get better, or it's starting to get like more accepted because people are talking about it more. So yeah, I think it's important to talk about that.
Yeah, if you think so. I can either, because a lot of my art journey, like, is parallel to my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, it's kind of hard to avoid it when I talk about like my life as an artist.
Okay.
But I can just avoid it and talk more about like the art, whatever could be more interesting.
Nah, I'm actually gonna do different. Like, I'm gonna do different videos for that. Like, I'm gonna have a separate kind of section for specific like techniques and stuff. But the long interviews are just like getting to know an artist and like talking about life as an artist and the journey and kind of the problems that happen. And yeah, so. So when you like, I don't know when the moment was, or if it was like a singular moment, but when you like knew that this was like the path that you wanted to really give a shot at, like what did you expect, or like what did you want out of that?
Well, for me, I think like art just kind of like happened so naturally in my life. Like as I was growing up and becoming an adult human, it was just something that I always like was constantly doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just every kind of art, like I just had to be drawing, which is kind of a cliche. I think artist thing is like
Yeah.
growing up, I just like found myself constantly drawing. I grew up in like my dad is a scientist, or he teaches physics. He's a teacher. I don't know if scientist is even a word people use. Like it sounds like a mad scientist. I don't know. They must use that. Yeah, people say scientist. Anyway, so I grew up thinking I should like study science or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the cliche, yeah, like I just was drawing constantly. Becoming a career, it's more like when I started doing caricatures, it was just a job that I found on Craigslist, and I was already drawing constantly, and I applied. When I started doing it, it was of course like so hard,
Mm-hmm.
and like I just was horrible, and tons of rejections, tons of like just pure anxiety and hard. But like as I was doing it and as I was working, like you have when I first started like really working at it and had like a first 12-hour shift and like just like cranking them out and making money and like feeling really good. It was like the first time that my brain like totally turned off. And yeah, it was like this click moment of like, oh my God, this is like the first time I've ever really felt good, like working and doing something and making something. And it was not like I had decided to be an artist, but just like doing that, like drawing and making money. And like the making money was like secondary because it was just like, this is so cool, even though it's hard. So it kind of just slowly developed.
Yeah.
Stuff there. Yeah.
So did you have any idea of what you wanted out of that, or you just knew right away, like, I just want to do this? Like, I don't care like what that looks like. I just want to do this.
Yeah, I think the second, the latter. Even still, I don't necessarily know. I'm like someone that's constantly changing and moving and like looking for the next thing. Mm-hmm. I'm really like, Scatterbrained is like the negative version of it, but maybe like creative and entrepreneurial spirit is like the better way to say it. But I'm just kind of like
Was that French?
At once.
Did you just use French? The what? No. Spirit?
Did I? Like is that what you say? Entrepreneurial? Entrepreneurial.
Oh, entrepreneur. Yeah, that's French. Yeah.
Entrepreneurial. I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
I think it actually must be a French word though.
You're pronouncing it more French than like Americans usually pronounce it. Most people say like entrepreneur. Okay, but yeah. Entrepreneurial, yeah.
Yeah, so it could be like this. So I'm always kind of like with COVID, I'm like really trying to adapt to something new. And I'm working on something now and hopefully it works out. It's not necessarily art related, but like it's creative, so everything that I do is always going to combine art, hopefully. Mm-hmm. But yeah, even now, I'm not like, I'm working, like I don't like school, I don't do well in school. It's not the way I learn, I guess. So I've never been like, I'm working as this artist to go to school to be a 3D, whatever. You know, like these kinds of things you can do, and it's a very set path.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I don't know, I'm always looking for the next thing and the next way to still do art. But I think, is that answering your question enough? Like, I don't necessarily have a...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not like a singular moment for you. It's just something that like it's a process of discovery is what it sounds like, which is what it's been like for me too. I thought that there would be a path, but I guess really I didn't go to the right school for like a path right after school. So I kind of had to make my own way, and I think you and I are the same like that. Like I think that kind of is the way it's meant to be for me anyway, just because that's just the way my mind works, and I like to try new challenges all the time and try different things and build different businesses or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, which I think is really cool that you do that. Like clearly now you're branching out and doing cool new things.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast. I started it like 3 years ago. But it was a lot of work, and then I stopped, and then I guess when I sufficiently forgot how much work it was, I started it again, because it's still a lot of work, but I'm going to stick with it this time. I think COVID helped with that, like the COVID scenario has helped with that, because it's given me something to do with my time.
Yeah, totally, and talk to people and connect.
But, so... How did you get into that? You said like, were you going to art school at all, or did you just get straight into it from the job you found on Craigslist?
Yeah, I didn't go to art school. I went to initially I had gone to just a month of college and then dropped out. I was just working at a cafe and went right into it. And just ever since then, I just did caricatures and worked for different companies and self-taught, I guess. And mostly I've learned just from other artists, working with, and people teaching me how to paint and draw and color and just working next to an artist. And I think that's the best way that I learn is by application. So you're doing something, you're watching something, and you're applying it, and it makes a lot of sense to me that way. Mm-hmm. But still, always tends to learn.
Yeah, I think that's like that even if you get into the industry, that people, you get into a company and then you get taught most of what you know from that company or from the people who are working with you. Um,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the problems and stuff that you did face. I mean, you were talking, you mentioned mental illness or mental health. Like, what kind of obstacles have come up since you became an artist? Like, you were working at different companies, but I
Hmm.
mean, we have like these obstacles in our life that are like external, like, you know, we need to learn how to draw a hand or something, or we need to learn this color technique. But then we have
Yeah.
all of these other like internal kind of existential problems, like being artist and being inquisitive and curious and not really usually accepting things kind of at face value as much as other people. So like what did you run into, or what were some roadblocks that you ran into?
Um, well, I guess it's less of what roadblocks I ran into, like while doing art as a character artist or art in general. Well, it kind of is. It's more like before becoming a character artist, I really was suffering a lot with like anxiety. I had an eating disorder for like most of my life, and then like when I started doing characters is when it didn't like go away, of course, but it was like the only thing that I found that I was even able to do. Like in school, like going to college, I had like panic attacks constantly, and I just could not focus, so I just couldn't do it.
Hmm.
And then doing other jobs, it was like something about like even just working at a cafe was like okay because you're running around constantly, and it kind of fulfilled my anxiety of like I just moving constantly and talking constantly, and I can kind of like keep up with that way.
Mm-hmm.
But something about the art was like, especially character art, was like the social interaction because you're talking, right? You're supposed to be talking, and then the movement of your hand, and then like the creative side of your brain. Like it's just so much energy put into it at once. Like any character artist knows this. It's just like such a focus that I was like, finally, I don't know, like I could just do this and not think about anything else. And like by the end of an 8-hour day, I was just tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wore me out enough, and it just like something that clicked. So it's almost like it's like when I don't do caricatures, it's really hard in that way. Like with COVID, I could tell like, shit, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Because I find it hard to do art just sitting at home because it's like you're taking away all those elements of like the talking and like the speed and the energy, and you're just there and you have like a deadline. So I really don't like doing commissions. I got more into murals lately. I did a mural for somebody in their basement. So I'm really trying to get to that because it's more active and it's interesting and it's like using my whole body and moving and
Yeah, you should send me a
that's
picture of
another
that. I will
one.
put that up.
Oh yeah,
I saw it. It looked cool, but I didn't get a very good look at it.
okay, I'll
Yeah.
send it. It's fine. It's my first one. He's like, just do whatever you want. Make it colorful. Yes, what a good way to start.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's
So
interesting because you like what you talk about with that like it's basically a flow state that you're talking about, and I think at least three other artists have brought that up since I've been interviewing people. And then AJ, the first guy I interviewed, he overcame the agoraphobia
mhm.
with caricatures. So it's interesting. There's like a parallel. A lot of people have kind of like some internal problem that they face, and like caricature or whatever their art form seems to soothe that. And you know
Yeah.
what I think it is, and we talked about the power of now, by Eckhart Tolle, and I think it's basically what he's saying in that book is like it allows us to be in the moment by like our mind identification and like our like incessant chatter in our brain is shut off, and we're able to just like flow and be like in the moment by moment as we're drawing, because you really have to. If you only have 5 minutes to draw a face, I mean, you really have to be focused.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about you, but it sounds like we have a similarity there. It's like I have a problem staying focused, and whenever I'm able to find something that like really is like forces me to focus, it's like soothing somehow. Like, yeah.
Do you find the same things with caricatures then? Like it's just so like all encompassing almost that you stay focused doing it?
Yeah, but I still get caught up in my head. And
Okay.
those are my caricatures that are mediocre.
Yeah, when you're just like, when you do it long enough, it becomes muscle memory, and then they suck, and then you're just, not for yours, but at least I can say this.
Okay.
Yours are always good, but
Yeah,
I know
right.
mine, when they suck, when I'm just like, okay, what are we thinking about,
Yeah. Yeah, but there is something interesting about it is that, like, for me, I can almost feel before I draw it that it's going to be a good one. And I can definitely feel it, like, when I start drawing, because it's almost like there's no energy up here. It's just like happening here, and like the interaction in the space between me and the customer. That's where all the energy is happening. It's not caught in my head, and I can actually feel that as a physical feeling. And the drawings always turn out much more interesting and better.
Yeah.
And then of course the customer likes it more too because they can feel the same thing.
Yeah, the excitement about it and stuff, totally.
So is that what you meant by like mental health?
I think mostly. Only other stuff. I mean, it's like a constant thing. So what else I would say about it is, like, for me, working as an artist has been like a constant, like, upkeep, I guess, of like mental health, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. Like, just managing anxiety and like self-confidence as an artist. And for me, as somebody who like didn't study art, I guess, of like I still have so much left to study. Like, I kind of went from like working as an artist to like now going backwards and studying all the basics. Like, I was working as a caricature artist, drawing caricatures and like, just kind of park sketches and things like that. To like now the last probably 2 years, I've really put a lot of time and energy and into figure drawing and studying like just like the structure of the face and shading and different, like, I didn't even know line weights until like 3 years ago maybe, and like just the change that made in my art. And I really still want to study everything, but like just like coloring with Prismacolor pencils, and just like getting the really nice like lighting down, which is something I'm focusing on now, which has gotten better for a while, but I still have so far to go. But like having the self-confidence to like be okay with where I'm at while also wanting to get so much better, and not being like I'll have a day where I'm just like, I'm so bad I like can't even get myself to draw today. Like, how can I even like how can I post anything on Instagram, or like how can I show up as an artist when there's like everybody is better, and like you just have this like pitfall of like, oh my god, how can I do this? Why am I doing this? It's so embarrassing, to being like, it's okay that I feel like that. I still need to keep drawing. I still need to like keep working. Like, you won't always feel so shitty. Like, you'll have a day again where you feel confident and proud, and you'll have that customer that's just like, you're incredible, and you know.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about anxiety, because you brought up a lot of points right there that I think we should talk about. Like, for example, you're talking about these days that we have that we're, comparing ourselves to other people, and we feel really shitty, or our work's not good, or, everybody has off days. But you talked about just like feeling it and accepting it, and then walking through it, or like working through it. And I think that's just, it seems like overly simplified, but for me, that's been basically how I work through it. It's like, meditation is a big help for me with that. I think anyone who has a mind like that should practice meditation, because, to be able to like observe what's happening and not get drawn into it. The pun was intended, by the way. But to be able to like observe something and sort of like sit in the theater and like watch the circus of your mind and watch the circus of your emotions from a back seat and not get involved with it, and then just keep putting one foot in front of the other anyway, is like really important, because art is hard. It's definitely not an easy thing. It takes constant work, and it's like it's a road, it's a road to mastery.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to see it too. With it, and meditation, I'm working on, so I think that's cool, and something that I need to incorporate as well, because I do it my own way, but that's probably better as well. I feel like it's also something that you can incorporate, like, and for me, it's been something that I've incorporated into like everything in life. Like, you can't wait to live, basically. And why I think caricatures is a really cool form of art, because it's like you have to show up. You can't you can't erase it. You can't just be like, okay, I'll send it to you in a week. You can't just keep changing it. You just have to keep showing up over and over again and doing it. And like in my life, like when I had more like panic attacks and like when I was a teenager and really struggling, it was like I just wouldn't show up. Like I was too afraid, or I was too like self-conscious, or too like I'm not good enough. I'm not going to be out in the world, and just like hide myself more. But like and it's still almost the same feelings that I'll have, but just never letting those feelings like be too much to not be part of the world. And like for everything, even like with, I think of it now with like all the activism going on in the United States, and like not being afraid to like put yourself out there to be like part of the activism and to educate yourself, and not like admitting that you're not perfect and you're not like you don't know enough, and but still like trying to do better all the time, and like showing up. So you don't have to be like the most educated, the most woke, I don't know, whatever. Like you don't have to be all these things. You just have to keep showing up and like doing your part for everything. And yeah, so I think it translates to like every like art and like your appearance and the world. So I guess that's where mental health comes in to all that.
Yeah, I can see that. It does. It's also like a universal problem. Like it's not necessarily having to do with like, let's say, a mental disorder or like some kind of thing that we label as anxiety or like whatever. There is like these kind of ubiquitous problems that people have of like low esteem, or like they feel guilty when they stand up for themselves, or this is particularly true with artists, I find. Or like lack of self-acceptance and like perfectionism and all of that. And yeah, I agree with you totally. Like for me, caricature has been not just a career, but it's been like a therapy. Because like when you have to, it's easy when I go out and I'm having a good day and I'm drawing and like all my drawings are looking good and like I'm feeling like the sun is shining and the birds are chirping and there's a cool breeze and everything's great. It's easy to yeah. It's easy to like say, oh yeah, that's going to be like $25 or whatever, and take the money for it. But there's a lot of days, I would say probably like a quarter of the days, like I don't feel like that. It feels like shit, or the drawings feel mediocre, or I feel like whatever, blah, blah. And I still have to ask for the money, And I still have to like maintain that same standard of like, this is my price, this is what I'm going to ask for, and like if they don't like it, then they can go away, that's okay, but like I'm take it or leave it, like it forces you to kind of like not be a perfectionist, because there's no way you can make a perfect drawing in 5 minutes anyway. And then it also forces you to like stand up for yourself, even if you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that you mentioned that I notice a lot is like I used to get sucked into that feeling of not standing up for myself, or pointing out what was bad or not working with the art, instead of just letting the customer enjoy it. And now I have this ability, I owe a lot of it to caricature, but I have this ability to just say, oh yeah, there's that feeling again. Like there's that thought again. Like I can kind of watch it walk by like it's a dog or something walking in front of me, and I don't have to like get pulled into it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, yeah, it's kind of the meditation, like seeing things go in front of you.
Yeah.
And like not, like allowing the thoughts to go, and then like you're like, what are thoughts? And then like just letting them go.
Yeah, because they'll always change. But I do want to bring this up because, well, I'll just bring it up and we can talk about it or not. But I want to talk about like what problems that are challenges that you've had specifically, like as a female artist, or if you feel like there's been specific issues or not, like being a female artist.
Um, there's like overall not like a lot. The main issues are kind of like typical female issues in general, I guess. Like working, I had it happen maybe like 10 times total, which is a little bit significant. Working for like companies, and people like would ask if I'm the receptionist, like for the, which seems like a bizarre, but like the receptionist for the caricature artists. Like, you know, it's like me standing next to a guy, and like the two of us are kind of like hustling, you know? And they'd be like, oh, so I give you the money and then he draws me? I'm like, no.
Did you ever get that? Did you ever get that from women? Did women ever ask you that?
No, it was always
a old white guy, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'd say yes. And it's always just kind of like irritating. But it wouldn't happen that often. So it's not like something I'm like, this is something I'm going to really talk about. But so that would be one thing.
Did you ever say, yes, sir, I'll take your money, sir?
Yeah, I'll take it and walk away.
Yeah.
I don't want to work. Yeah.
Is there anything else I can get you? Can I get you a drink? Have a seat. Would you like a lemonade?
On the rocks.
Yeah. It's like 1950s Hollywood. Yeah.
Other than that, I think I don't know if I've had much else. Just typical like sexual harassment, not from like anyone I've worked for, but from like customers, I guess, like saying gross stuff.
Yeah.
I think it would be not, you know, like guys just getting a caricature just to be kind of creepy, but that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a big deal. I shouldn't negate these things. I don't know. Nothing. I wouldn't say anything so significant.
Do you feel like there's any expectations or anything of you that are different? Because I put a post up on Reddit and I asked if like the women there had any like particular problems with being an artist, and some of them said like they felt like they were expected to draw in a certain way, like they weren't able to. This particular woman like said she didn't feel like she was really able to like get into the gnarly shit because she was a woman, and she felt like the expectation was like she would draw cute stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you ever? I mean, that's just an example. Like, is there anything that you go through with that, or?
I would guess that would be an expectation. I don't care, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I've always like really liked like being like the macabre and like creepy stuff, and like horror was my favorite thing growing up.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Well, as I'm sitting behind this pink wall.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with The Shining. I know like every word to it.
Really? Okay.
Yes, especially the staircase scene is like, oh my god, it just kills me.
You know the history. You know the history behind that, right?
Like how many like shots they did.
Yeah. I think maybe you told me about that. Yeah. And she she had to get some therapy afterward, right? Because she was. Because it was like traumatizing for real, like. The direct,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like stuff like that. So I don't think I've never felt like I like cute. I mean, I painted my kitchen pink yesterday, so I obviously like cute stuff too. But
you like psychological thriller?
Huh?
You like psychological thrillers, or you like gory stuff, or is it like all of it?
I like gore.
You like Evil Dead?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, that one's so good. I love that movie.
I mean, zombie gore is like one of the best. I like Reanimator. Like I really like campy gore a lot.
Oh, then you like the B movie stuff, then, right?
Yeah, I prefer that over. I don't like.
Have you ever seen Puppet Master?
No.
Oh man, I have so many good B movie horror gory B movie recommendations. Did you like Hellraiser?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oop.
Yeah, send me a list. I need some more. I've gotten less into horror lately. I think maybe it's like a COVID thing, like the obsession with what are we saying? What's that word? Productivity.
Okay.
Like I'm kind of falling into that of like do everything, and then I'm basically doing nothing and just like walking backwards in my house and painting it different colors. But eating a lot, making bread.
Oh yeah.
But what's the point? Oh yeah, so I haven't been watching a lot of horror movies, but I would like to.
So
why not?
I guess the next question is like, what do you? Maybe you don't have a picture of it, but is there a picture that you have of what the ideal life as an artist for you is? And if that does exist, like what does that sort of look like?
For me, what I kind of came to terms with, I was talking to my friend Chris Chua about this, which probably everyone that listens to this podcast and listen.
You think he listens? Is he listening?
What? Right now?
He better listen. No, we're not. We're not live now. We're not live, but.
Him. Oh yeah, good point. Well, I was talking to him about like our different. We were talking about I think our different like why we do art a bit, and like for me it's all about community. Like, first, I mean, I guess I got into art as I said before. Like first as like it just felt so good with anxiety and just like passion for drawing, but. Like I think when I really decided I was gonna like be an artist and like go for art was when I went to the first caricature convention, which is, everyone says this, but it was like, oh my god, this is like so cool to be. Even though I'm kind of quiet, especially in big groups, like I just kind of am like, what's up? And people kind of think I'm weird, but
they would be correct.
Correct, you got that right. But it was like the first time I really. Well, I don't know. I really felt like part of something, and it's so cool to be part of something so unique as like an adult, I guess. Like not a lot of adults who work are part of such a unique like group of humans that work together, and like it's actually their jobs.
Yeah.
For most of us. I was like, this is really awesome. And so whatever I do with art, I want it to be with people. Like my main purpose is just to like bring people closer to my life. And like to connect me to the world and other people to each other somehow. So I've always envisioned more of like less of like I've never really cared about becoming like an artist for like the sake of like I want to be famous or I want to like be featured in a thing or win an award. I never really cared. More just like I want to keep doing art. Like either if it's I always envisioned some sort of like mental health, art, community. Building. So part of me like staying in the same city now, like I moved to Raleigh and I'm like thinking I'll stay here for a while, is starting to do something like that and like getting more community and getting more like art focused in that way. So yeah, that's kind of more my vision. Just keep doing art. Like I don't care what it is, like just making stuff and yeah, this is so cool.
So you just want to stick with, at the moment anyway, you just want to stick with the creation part of it. Like you don't have any idea of like teaching or mentoring or anything like that?
Yeah, not necessarily. Everything's kind of happened naturally in my life up to this point. Like things just kind of like something happens and then my life goes this way and then it kind of is like it's got its benefits and its downfalls and then something happens and it goes this way and it's got its benefits and its downfalls and I'm just kind of riding it and as long as I'm like staying true, it all sounds really but like as long as I'm staying true to like myself and what I care about, it seems to just kind of do the right thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm just telling myself like it's all happening for a reason, everything's fine,
Yeah,
but why not tell yourself that?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, like, I thought this might be your answer because my other question was, like, what is standing in the way of that? But it sounds like your philosophy is not really... You're avoiding, like, things standing in the way just by accepting things as they come and using your love of creating art as your compass, really. So it seems like being flexible and accepting change and, like, I hate to use this phrase, but going with the stream of life or like going with the flow is in a way kind of like indestructible because it's so flexible,
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a better way to look at it than like what's standing in the way or what are the challenges. I think a better way to look at it is more like like how can I use what's happening in my life right now to my advantage, as long as it like leads in the general direction of me being creative and making artwork.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's just like also understanding like I'm really into like the hero's journey. I think we've talked a bit about this and
Mm-hmm.
like the Odyssey, right? That's the Odyssey, yeah. Well, it's like Joseph Campbell, yeah, the
Joseph
hero's
Campbell,
journey,
yeah.
yeah. So it's like you do your thing, and then you'll have that point of understanding when it's like time to come back to your community and like share what you've learned, basically.
Yeah.
So I think that's like super important to know that in your life, like when that time has come for you. Not it sounds kind of like intense, so like when it's time to die. No, more of like I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm a bit young. Yeah, young and old at the same time, but like I'm feeling a bit like that. Like I've done a lot of traveling, and I'm not like done traveling or anything like this, but like I'm feeling like I've done some stuff in life, and I'm getting more to the point of like I'm ready to like mentorship or not that I'm like a. It sounds weird because I'm not. I haven't learned everything about art at all, but like whatever my like life experiences have taught me, it's like time to kind of start doing what I can to bring that back to people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that'll keep repeating in my life. Hopefully, like I'll learn more, and then I keep returning this. But I think that's always an important thing to remember is like where you are in like your hero's journey.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then yeah, I mean like which then obstacles are always part of that. So if it's like what's standing in your way of getting to your goal, it's like knowing that it's not like one thing. It's just gonna keep like in my life, it's always something new. There's always something good, and there's always something bad. So it's like just knowing that there's going to be another bad thing or there's going to be another hard thing, but like what you learned, you can, like being flexible and like resilient or adaptable, all those good things. I like to be able to know that you've like learned enough to keep continuing, and that it's not like going to be. I think there's these charts, which is like if people in recovery know this kind of thing. It's like life isn't like this; it's like this kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like you're going to keep going up, but it's probably going to be like that.
Yeah, they talk about that in the book Mastery, and they actually have the chart in there, which is like on the road to mastery, like you'll have a little jump, but then you're on the plateau for a really long time, and you don't feel any growth or anything happening. It feels like you're just kind of wasting time, and then all of a sudden, bam, you have like another jump. And it's because whatever you've been working on while you've been on that plateau has become internalized, and you do it automatically. You don't have to think about it anymore. It just happens automatically. It becomes, muscle memory. But then once you get to the next plateau, you're on that for a really fucking long time. It's kind of like when you're starting with a sketch and you get the sketch, like that's really fast, and then when you're like go in and working on all the small details, like that takes so much longer than actually just building the sketch. Like the details take longer. So
it's a book.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'll actually find it then. That sounds cool.
I can send it to you. I can send you the message.
Okay.
Man, there was another thing you said that I want to talk about, but I forgot. Yeah. It's like you said. It's like coming back and sharing what you know. I think for me, what it is it's like I always knew things, but I didn't have the language for them even when I was a small child, and it's taken me up until like a certain stage in my adulthood where I got the language for that, like to explain these truths and this wisdom. And it's like when I finally figured out how to say it or like ways to express it, I always thought, why did they not teach me this in school? Like, why is this not a primary thing? It's because we're going through all these things in life, but when you get older, you start to see the patterns, and you start to like pick up these little bits of wisdom here and there, and then they all sort of add up at a certain point, and you're like, wait a minute, why didn't I know this back then? So yeah. I agree with you. I feel like we do have a responsibility to like go back and like try to share it with people. I'm not so sure that they're ready to get it though. I think maybe people have to like experience it for themselves.
like the youth in life. You mean just
Yeah. Like when you're in your
Yeah.
20s, like you can't imagine like death. Like you're But then when you're in your 30s or you're getting closer to 40, you're like, oh shit.
yeah. I'm not looking forward to that. I still kind of feel like I'm gonna live for a while, so I hope so.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like. I just mean like the concept becomes more real, like when you have friends dying and stuff. This really took a dark turn. This is not where I wanted to go with this.
Well, the skeleton in the back isn't helping either.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I have anything else for you. Oh, what's getting your goat today? What's bothering you today? Is there something on social media? Is there like a meme that's pissing you off, or
I mean,
is there a bird outside your window that chirps and bugs you? Is there a color that's getting your goat?
I would say, my neighbor. Can you hear me? My new neighbor is kind of getting my goat. I bought a new truck because
A truck?
Well, because it's so.
Girls
cool.
can't drive trucks.
What?
That's not allowed. Girl.
No, it is.
Is it pink? Is it a pink?
Girls, can you see it from the window? Let's see. It's blue. Can you see it at all?
I see the top of it. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
that looks like an old truck.
Yes. So because I moved to North Carolina, I was like, might as well just go for it, And I need a car because I've been traveling so much. I'm like, I need a car. So I bought a blue F100. I don't know anything about trucks, but I found out on Craigslist. F100, 1976. It's beautiful. It's got it drives like this. I don't know, it's so much fun. Doesn't have plates
You're officially a lesbian now.
That's probably not a great thing to say. I don't know. Anyway.
It's a joke, everybody. It's a joke.
Do lesbians drive trucks? Is that a cliche?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. They drive like 1970s trucks, and they paint their kitchen pink. And
Well, then send some ladies my number. No, but my neighbor, he's like obsessed. He's kind of strange. I don't know. He's obsessed with it, and he just keeps like looking. I don't know. He just keeps talking to me all day about the truck, and I have no idea. He's like asking me questions about it, and it's like my first car I bought, and I have
He's
no
like,
idea.
what kind of carburetor is that got in it?
Yeah, stuff like this. And he's like, so I don't know. Every time I go outside, like I'm just trying to like hide behind stuff, like just to avoid talking about it.
Really? It's really that bad, huh?
He's just really bored, and he's just like one of the neighbors that always sits on his porch, like constantly. He's just like waiting for someone to talk to.
Oh yeah.
Like, pre-coffee. I've had like two French presses now, so I'll go out and say something.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's talk about it now.
You gotta prime yourself up for it, and it runs okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It got a new engine. The guy I bought it from just put a new engine in it, so it's got only 20,000 miles.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I can use it for caricatures when we can do festivals. I'm going to throw all this stuff in the trunk.
Nice.
And I can sleep in like this sounds really sad on YouTube now. I can like sleep in just like the seat, Hopefully I'll have someone that hangs out with me for the festivals and get a tent or something.
You could put a camper on the back of that and have a little shelter back there. Yeah.
I know, it's going to be so fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You like driving the big truck, huh? Is it a stick shift?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I also had a Ford F-150, but it wasn't that old.
It's an F-100 though.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like the 50s version of the F-100.
Oh, like the really old, like round ones.
Yeah, those are so cool.
Yeah. I saw one of those yesterday, actually, driving around.
Do you have in the truck? Do you have like one of the little knobs that you turn for the radio, or is it like an old school radio, or you have a new radio system?
The cool thing is he actually there's no radio in it. He put in like a new music system or something in the glove compartment, so like no one will steal it out. And it looks all old school still, but it plays like an aux cord.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, the way he sold it to me is like he played. Well, I was like, I like your truck, on Craigslist, and then we were messaging back and forth, and he's like, okay, I'll show you, I'll do a video, of the inside, and he was playing Stevie Nicks, and like it was raining in the truck, he had the truck, and it looked all shiny, and I was like, I'll take it,
Nice.
But you can't resist.
Nice, cool, congratulations. I just got my driver's license yesterday.
Really?
My international driver's license, yeah. So I can drive in the EU now, finally.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but they have these car rental services. You can just rent a car. Like, it's kind of like renting a scooter, but you just rent the car. So they have a bunch of these cars around, and that's probably how I'll use cars. I don't think I'm going to buy one.
Yeah, in Europe, it's so you can get around so easy. It's so beautiful.
So
that's cool.
What are you loving right now? Is it your truck, or is it your pink room there, or what is it? What are you liking right now?
Yeah, it takes a lot of things. Life is.
What's your favorite thing right now?
Okay. Favorite thing is I bought a bottle of absinthe yesterday.
Real absinthe, for sure?
It's real. It's lucid absinthe from France. You can only buy 2 types of absinthe in North Carolina. There's absinthe, which doesn't have wormwood in it. It's like the one with the Van Gogh on it, and then they have absinthe, like the lucid type, and it has the wormwood in it. So it's not like the dyed one. It's actually really nice, like with all natural herbs and yeah. So that's been fun.
Have you been drinking it with friends or by yourself?
I've been sharing it, yeah.
Okay. Have you had hallucinations?
Huh?
Have you been hallucinating on it, or what's it like?
No, that's all a myth, Like like wormwood has the thujone in it, but like the amount of, I think there's a little bit of a psychoactive element in thujone, but like that's why it's legal now in the U.S. since 2007, because like the amount of thujone or wormwood or whatever the psychoactive thing would be in it is like so little compared to like if you were to ever get a psychoactive effect, you have died way longer. You would have died a long time
from
ago
alcohol.
from alcohol poisoning.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it just the flavor that you like, or what?
Yeah, I mean it's really good. I like the it's like you do like the water drip inside, and then it's just really beautiful. Like when you have the absinthe, it starts out as like a clear. It can be any color, like white or green. But this one has like the green effect from like the green anise, and then when you add the water, it turns into this beautiful like white cloud.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, it's really pretty. And, yeah, like the flavor. The flavors like if you get a good one, it has like all these different flavors in it. So and it's a nice feeling. It's like I don't like drinking a lot, so it's like a nice like. Little glass is really nice.
Okay. Have you ever drank it with your neighbor? The one that likes to chat with you a lot? Maybe that would be fun. Maybe you should...
He was like more of a moonshine guy, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's definitely a moonshine guy.
Maybe you should combine what you love right now with what's getting your goat right now.
That's a good point. Yeah, bring it all together.
Yeah, it'll cancel each other out.
The hero's journey. Basically.
So how about the question, how do you keep from burning out? It sounds like... I'll let you answer that, but it sounds like you kind of already gave the answer to that because you like to work around people.
Yeah, which has been a thing with all this. I would say I don't know if I burned out, but I have not been doing, like, drawing, which is, like, killing me, which I'm happy I think is almost a bit of a sign, like, you asked for this interview just about when I just moved here, and, like, things are kind of, like, I've been all over the place the last few months, so it's been more of just, like, getting life in order.
Mm-hmm.
And less like having hours to sit down and draw. When usually I'm someone like no matter what I'm doing, I'm constantly drawing. So if it's like just having breakfast or driving, I'm always drawing. But lately it's like nothing. Maybe it's because like I have like the feeling of despair when it's like when will characters ever be a thing again, and just like kind of shutting down a bit. And like I need to be like the fear of the future. Like I need to be more like creative, and I need to figure out how to have like a income, one of those things that people need. But so I think burnout. Yeah, I think this kind of ties into what you're saying. Burnout, like I would say that's a bit of burnout, like burnout in the way of like just losing inspiration and losing drive and like losing that passion. But I think like reconnecting with artists and people that like with you. I'm like really inspired by you. And we have like worked together, and so it's like, oh my gosh, this feeling. When I'm like talking to you, I have that feeling of like us drawing together in Prague, and like those good feelings of drawing again. And I do a lot of.
That was great. I just watched a video popped up of the one that you did of that Indian guy, and I shot that short little video of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It made me laugh. Yeah, it was a good memory.
They should post the dance videos too. I sadly stopped doing the dance of the day thing.
Yeah, you totally flaked out on that, but so did I. I did too. But I was waiting for you, but then I used that as an excuse not to keep dancing.
Yeah. Never have an excuse to quit dancing. But yeah, so it's basically just the last thing. Looking at artists for inspiration, like I think that's always a big thing. Is like when you see somebody doing art that you're like, oh my gosh, that's incredible, and then I just want to draw because of it. So I found an artist recently that I loved, and I was like, oh my god, I want to draw again. So yeah.
What was the artist? Who's the artist?
She's a French artist, and it's actually a cartoon from the 80s, like a comic strip from the 80s that is usually like it's like a magenta, black, white color scheme, and it's just like the faces are really like sleek and cartoony, and it's really nice. I'll send it to you. And then I forget the name.
Okay. Let's see. One more question, and then let's look at the artwork. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is, what is your favorite thing to do for yourself? And that can be just a personal thing, or it can be like something like for your art practice or anything like self-care or anything. Is there like a favorite ritual or thing that you do for yourself?
I hula hoop every day.
Oh, yeah?
So I have like 2 traveling hula hoops.
That's
Usually
right.
I bring them with me whenever I go somewhere. It's like, I find it really centering. Maybe it's like my version of meditation. I don't know if that makes sense. But like, it's really soothing to me. I listen to like music and I hula hoop. And
Can you send me a video of you hula hooping? I want to put it in the video right here. I want to put it in the video.
Sure, I have that. I posted it on Facebook. I've been working on like a hula hoop dance. Hopefully I can do it for something eventually. But I'm trying to do like tricks and stuff. So I did this one trick recently where I smacked myself in the face and I posted it on.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
I
want
can
that
send
one.
that, or I can actually send you a nice one.
I want that one
Right.
too. I want the one of the hula hoop hitting you in the face.
Yeah, I think it's a better one, honestly.
Have you been juggling at all?
Yeah, I'm working on hula hooping and juggling at the same time.
Oh, that's awesome. Have you heard the guy that can beatbox and rap at the same time?
No, that doesn't make sense. How's that
It's
possible?
incredible. It's amazing.
That's cool.
And it's funny because in the video he goes, now I'm going to beatbox and rap at the same time. And then he does it. And it's crazy.
But can he juggle too, though? That's
Yeah,
real.
can he juggle hula hoop, rap, and beatbox at the same time? That would be something.
Then I'll be impressed. Anything without juggling and hula hooping is just like...
I've been juggling. I've been practicing.
Really?
So I can do a couple, but I can't keep it really going. But I can get it like the flow started anyway. So
If you got that, yeah, it just takes practice.
So let's look at the artwork.
Okay,
This is Lars Eric Robinson, and he's been contributing not just to my podcast, but to Jason Seiler's podcast, Face of Truth. Lars, I love you, man. He's like been so supportive. He bought the famous When I'm Dead coffee mug off of my store, and he became a Patreon for me just recently.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he's super helpful and super nice. And he's actually going to be starting a podcast of his own where he interviews artists about their favorite cooking recipes because he's a chef as well.
Okay.
So I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm Facebook friends with him, but I've never met him, so I know his name for sure.
So, actually, I'll read his question while I'm pulling mine up on my side. But he wanted to know about the arm. I guess he feels kind of weird about the arm, or he's wondering if he should have put the arm in the background, or what you thought about that. So that was his first question.
So what was he wondering about it?
Let me go back to his question. Okay, here we go. Maybe ask if the arm should be in there like it is, or maybe if I should have a dark background.
I like the light background. I think it kind of like, I like how it fades into the wings because it makes the wings almost like she's the focus and the wings are the afterthought of it, but you can still really see them. So I actually like the light background. And then it makes a good contrast against her blue, her blue outfit. What do you call it? Scrubs? And then the blue in the back, the light blue in the background is like a nice tone against her skin.
Yeah.
So I think the background is a really good choice, actually, and interesting with like the different colors.
Yeah. So it's whimsical. It has a very whimsical line work.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other question is, what do you think about the likeness? I sent you an image of her and him together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a little hard to tell because it's not a clear picture of her, really. And she's wearing the mask. It's a good likeness. I think the eyebrows are a little bit different from what I would notice between the drawing. She has more of like an arch in her eyebrows, so maybe that would make the likeness a little bit closer.
Mm-hmm.
It's not super exaggerated, so I would say it's a good likeness of her. And I like how you made the eyes like more open. Mm-hmm. She's got eyes like me, kind of. You can't see them as much when she smiles, but they look pretty when you do them more open.
I see.
I'm sure she loved it. Like it's a really pretty drawing of her.
Yeah, it is, and I see what you mean about the eyebrows now that I'm looking at it. The eyebrows are kind of like up and shot back a little bit. In the drawing, they're just a little bit lower.
Yeah, they have more of an arch in her actual face, which I think eyebrows like lend a lot to likeness. So I think that can make a difference.
Yeah, that's true. But I agree with you. I think overall it's a good drawing. Definitely, I think the likeness is pretty close. And I agree. I think she loved it. It's nicely done and nice line work, and it's interesting the way that he handled the outlines. Like there's parts that aren't totally filled in, which there's a nice energy to the line work and the coloring, the way he approached it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more of a light source would be nice, like emphasizing maybe the halo and making her face a little brighter.
Yeah.
It's good, but like a tiny critique might be like more of an interesting light source, like coming down since she has the halo, and I think traditionally like an angel would have like more of a light coming from above. Could be something to it.
That's a really good point. In fact, I've been spending a lot more time on my sketches lately because I can I'm focusing on the tonal range a lot more lately, and then I go in with the color, and the improvement is massive.
Oh, okay. I'd love to hear more about that later.
Yeah.
I'm learning that kind of stuff too, so that's cool.
Under I'll just say the first thing that popped out to me was the wings. The perspective on the wings is off. And the second thing is under the mask, it's a little hairy. Like it's got kind of like, it looks a little scratchy or hairy down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably smooth that out a little bit. And then the wings are facing forward, but she's leaning. She's not facing straight on. She's leaning with her left shoulder toward us. So
I see that. Yeah, now that you pointed that out, I see that as well.
So the wings should also reflect that in perspective. That other wing should be bigger, and the other wing should not just be smaller, but it should be like tilted back a little bit, like it was actually on her back. Unless he was going for something like she was standing in front of some wings or something. But yeah, I think overall it's good. I like it.
Yeah, nice.
I agree with what you said about the light source. Like you can really get like some magical kind of lighting effects with that.
Yeah, and you can do a lot since it's kind of a whimsical like fantasy drawing. It's you can get away with a lot of fun like lighting and interesting things. Yeah. And the sparkles are pretty in the back. I like the sparkles.
So, is there something that you want to plug? You got a secret project going on that you don't want to talk about right now.
Yeah, it's one of these things like I'll go back to your face then. It's one of these things that I'm excited about, but and I'm working out with my sister, so it's why we're both here in Raleigh actually. If it works out, then I'll tell people, but don't want to. It's something too. Is
it art related at all, or is it totally separate?
It's a separate business, but it would hopefully when it gets going, then I'm gonna feature artists by using it.
Ooh, you're giving away some clues.
Yeah, it's like a product more, but
it's a service. It's like a service, or Okay.
No. It's more like an experience, sort of.
Okay. We don't have to.
It'll take a while.
We don't have to. I'm not gonna try to trip you up on the details. I'll let you keep it a secret. I don't want to like ask some tricky questions or anything. But
Yeah, sure. Like I have a character Instagram on my other Instagram. I have at Crystal Art Co., which is the kind of the company that I myself kind of have been doing just when I travel.
mm-hmm.
And like in Belfast, I'm using that one. And then when things get going in North Carolina, I've been doing some like festivals and Outer Banks. They're just really fun. So
Cool.
at Crystal Art Co. is that.
Do you want to endorse the pink paint that you put on your wall back there? What kind of paint is that?
It's actually called Princess Pink. Paint your house Princess Pink and you'll never have any problems.
And there it is, folks. All right. Kim Truedson, everybody. Check her out on Crystal Co. Art. Right? No?
Nope.
Crystal Art Co.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, I'll put a link below. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the little notification bell and leave some comments down there. And buy the Famous When I'm Dead coffee mug and become a Patreon for $2, $5, or $10 a month. And just support all of that stuff. That would be really cool. And send the video to all your friends and make some popcorn and watch it with all your art friends. And we can all be one big happy family.
Kettle corn is the best.
Yeah. Or kettle corn. Yeah. Cool.
Thanks. Your podcast is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you like it?
I love it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and the notification bell. If you want to see the full interview, click here. And if you'd like to show your support, you can find a link to our Patreon page in the description section below.